In an alternate world, the devastation that resulted in tens of millions of deaths during World War II created an unexpected reaction. Emerging from the ground, the undead came back to fight for the cause in which they had sacrificed their lives, and what returned became an even more deadly threat to both their enemies and humanity. Warfighter World War II Z is an alternate setting to the traditional World War II battlefield. With the undead rising from their graves, they present a formidable challenge for the Allied soldiers. The Undead expansion presents both Japanese and German hostiles of a decidedly zombie nature who operate under a different set of rules compared to their living counterparts. You'll notice some of the undead hostiles have two separate reticles. The larger number represents the number of hits needed to destroy each hostile. The smaller reticle shows the number of hostiles on the card. In this example, you must inflict 3 hits on each hostile, but there are 2 hostiles on the card. Keep track of the hits and suppressions for each hostile separately. You must draw a hostile targeting counter for each hostile when you draw the hostile card, and when you roll an attack for each hostile. At the beginning of the hostile attack step, if the hostile is in range of 1 or more targeted soldiers, redraw all targeting counters for the soldiers that are out of range. Keep redrawing until all soldiers are in attack range of the hostile. If a double reticle hostile is out of range to all targeted soldiers at the start of the close range step, move the hostile toward the closest targeted soldier during that step. If a targeted soldier is downed, immediately draw a new targeting counter. Keep drawing until you draw a targeting counter for a soldier that is within the attack range of the hostile. If you inflict more than 1 hit for a single attack, then you may distribute the hits as you desire between the hostiles on the card. Each suppression is treated as an EKIA in their attack column. Hostiles cannot act this turn if the number of EKIAs and suppressions equals their health. A hostile cannot be suppressed below 0 health. Do not add any additional suppressions if they are currently at 0 health. If an EKIA would cause a hostile to go below 0 health with their suppressions, then discard a suppression and keep the health rating at 0. 1 suppression is removed from each hostile during the remove suppression counter step. Keep in mind that hostiles with the fearless keyword cannot be suppressed. There can be no action without an equal and opposite reaction. As the forces of the undead started to impact the battlefield, so too did the power of the clergy, who came from the shadows to fight the new menace. You'll find that some soldiers, most notably the clergy, have divine powers. They will start each mission with divinity points. And while the clergy can use gear as normal, they are limited in the selection of weapons as indicated on their cards. Each clergy comes from a school of theology. You may select any one of the theology cards for your clergy soldier. The divine powers of the clergy is listed on the card, along with the adjustments to their powers and abilities. The divine power skill card will denote the number of divinity points needed to use a power. You cannot use the power if you lack the points. Plus, using a divine power does cost an action. You may see that some of the divine power cards may be used in reaction. This is indicated by the reaction keyword and the conditions in which it can be used. No action is required, but it still costs divinity points. To gain additional divinity points, you will need to eliminate hostiles that have a divinity value. When a hostile with divinity value is eliminated, you may divide the points as you desire between the clergy in your group. You may exceed the original divinity points of the clergy if you desire. Some weapons will be blessed, as noted by the blessed keyword. Such weapons will generally cost more in terms of resource points, but they will have superior attributes as compared to their non-blessed counterparts. Any soldier may use a blessed weapon. Expansions for Warfighter World War Z are now available that provide specific situations and new weaponry, gear, and equipment. The expansions provide new environments and challenges for the undead and the unnatural forces released upon the world. Warfighter World War II Z represents a new dimension to the conflict that ravaged the world. Reaching into the supernatural and beyond the grave, death is no longer an end. It is only the beginning.